Hello and welcome to Teenagers Untangled, the audio hug for parents going through the teenage years. I'm Rachel Richards, journalist, parenting coach, mother of 2 bonus daughters and 2 teens.
Hi there, I'm Susie Asley, mindfulness coach, mindful therapist, musician and mother of 3 teenagers. 2 of them are twins.
Now, we've done lots of episodes on how to cope with all sorts of parenting dilemmas. And in episode 36, we talked about the pressures of parenting and ways to reduce stress.
Yep.
Which is really important.
Yeah, really.
But I've been thinking about how important it is to find ways in which we can have more fun.
Absolutely.
And bond. And I seem to remember talking about ways to stay close to your teens. Back. I don't even remember when we did that, but we did do something on that. But anyway, the years are short. We were on the home straight, you and me, sort of, mine are kind of halfway through the teen years.
Yeah.
And I think just getting that bond revved up can be really rewarding. And if you're starting out, it might be nice to hear that it's not all awful.
Yes.
I don't know. Or if you're in the middle of it. So let's, I just thought it'd be nice to hear from listeners. And my goodness, you guys have really come up trumps. We've had some great responses.
Brilliant. I think it's a great topic.
Yeah, it's great topics.
And so often it's a little bit doom and gloom, isn't it? Oh, what should we avoid now? What's going to ruin our kids now? What are we all doing wrong? And it's really nice to look at the fun bits.
Spot on. That whole thing where I think there's too much fear that we're not really doing this right somehow, and that we need to have some grace for ourselves, because when we're kind to ourselves and go, you know what, it's not like, it's not really that disastrous. And then we can be kinder to other people.
Do you know, I found myself avoiding doom stories around teenagers recently. I just go away. Bye-bye.
I like that.
Yeah.
Ooh, just switch it off. Yeah. Switch it off. You don't have to talk about these things. Nuggets. Have you got a nugget for us?
I have. My nugget is I really love kind of observing my kids when they are with other people. I think it's really lovely. And I've had the opportunity to do that recently, just in little tiny, fleeting moments. Because we're all different when we're with different people, aren't we? That's the nature of being human, especially in the family. We're their safe space, hopefully. But we've had my nephew's girlfriend staying with us for a few weeks, and my daughter and her get on really well. And they haven't had much opportunity to hang out because she's had marks and, this girl's doing a placement, boring logistics. Anyway, they had an evening together, and I disappeared into another room because I could kind of feel that, they maybe needed a little evening alone. And the laughter and the mucking around, and I could kind of hear some of it because it was also when I was still in the room. She was just so light and funny, and just thinking, oh gosh, that's how she is with her friends. And I've also seen that in things. It's that, the classic when you're in the car driving them, and if you're quiet enough and there are enough of them and the journey's long enough, they sort of forget you're there.
Oh, that's the best. That is
so fun. And then you hear them, you hear the banter and you hear the relationships and who's the one that mucks about and who's the one that gets teased. And I just love all of that. And then, seeing them with other adults, it's really fun to see how they blossom with other people. And also it's reassuring. It's like, oh my goodness, they function.
They can talk to other people.
They
might not talk to me.
They work in the world.
It's funny.
It's so lovely. Yes. And we have a fine relationship. It's not that. It's just different. It's a real blessing to kind of step back and watch it, like deliberately watch it.
And I always used to like being the fun car. So I'd say, I say to everybody, I'll scoop up your kids, because I used to like hearing them all chatting together.
Yeah.
And I share lifts with another mother, and she'll often say, oh, you get the chance to listen to them this time.
Yeah.
So it's really spot
fun.
on. I love that. My nuggets, it's actually about someone who contacted me, and the mother has a daughter at school which seems to have a problem with vaping. And this is how she puts it. And she says the daughter's entire friendship group vapes. Okay. And she feels like nothing's really been done at school about it. And she explained the situation where her daughter had gone to a film with this friendship group that she's got that all vape, but her daughter doesn't vape. And afterwards, they all said, right, it's your turn to go and buy some vapes. And she said, well, I don't vape, so I don't. And it turned into a big tussle that was potentially dangerous. And the mother was really upset about this. Gosh. And she said she was going to see the headmaster. Could I give her some advice? And it was a really interesting one because, it made me think again about our conflict management episode and how important it is to try and, when you're going in and talking to a headmaster or a teacher or anybody, to use that sort of LUFU, the listen until they feel understood. But I said to her, it's not just about that group though, is it? Because actually in that particular scenario, I've had these situations where my child has been put into a difficult position because this will happen, where other people are doing things and you don't want your child to be doing them. And the child, frankly, doesn't want to either. And it's about giving them coping techniques. So I taught my kids that you need to ring fence some relationships where, for example, when she went out with those girls, went to a film, what she could have done was say, I've got to go home straight after. So that, because she knows that that's when it's after it, when they're all hanging out in the street, that they're going to end up wanting to go and get vapes. So it's about this, and this is a skill that we all need in our relationships generally, where we've all got friends where you really like certain things about those friends, but there are other things that aren't quite what you want. And being able to find ways of managing that relationship and saying, you can actually just say, I don't want to.
Yeah, I'm not going to.
But it can be very challenging for a teenager to do that. And again, with the drinking, I told my daughter when she said, I don't want to drink. And she's got friends who drink. And I said, most people don't care if you don't drink. What they care about is they don't want to be judged. So if you just say, actually, do you know, I really want some water right now. Make it a positive. Do you know what I actually want a Coke. I don't want any alcohol. I'm really dehydrated. Just make it something where it just moves
not
on.
A judgment. That's really good advice. Not making it a judgment.
Yes, and these are moments where we can teach our kids these skills, because it's hard.
It's classic peer pressure.
Really hard. It's classic peer pressure. So use those opportunities when you get them. Now, coming back to this, having fun with your kids. One of the things I saw was Gino D'Acampo, who's just a celebrity in the UK, who had gone on Heart FM, which is a radio station, and said, I don't really like children. Is it okay to say that?
Oops.
And he went on to say, I don't do children's stuff. I don't like the glitter stuff and the finger painting. And people were saying, oh, that's really, but actually what he was trying to say was, I don't really like doing the things that young girls that presumably he's come across want to do. And it made me think, that's not that you don't like children, it's that you don't like doing that stuff. And I think it's a really sort of modern idea of parenting, that you're supposed to be playing with your children
all the time.
It's weird, isn't it? Because my parents didn't play with me. I mean, I would have liked them to play cards with me or ball when I was bored, but it's not. It's a strange concept, because you're still their parent.
And the judgment in that is horrific. Like, you're a bad parent because you don't like glitter. Okay. That's kind of
and I think it's actually one of the things that can put parents off, dare I say, dads, where they think, well, I can't relate. I don't really want to do that.
But
whereas
really
you could be really good. And you could be you're a great parent. But so I think we need to let ourselves off the hook and think you don't have to constantly be doing stuff with them that suits them. The answer is, what can we do that makes all of us feel like we're having a good time together?
100%. Because what the energy we bring to the room, the relationship, the family is essential. And if we're not enjoying the activity, then we're not going to ripple out to very good energy, are we?
No.
So I think the mucking about is a massively undervalued activity.
Yes.
And we have a lot of fun in our house, I think. Not everyone might agree. We do. We muck about a lot, but it's the little moments. It's not so much... we do like a big fun activity, which we will do occasionally, but I don't know, do we do many of them? Probably, but not so much. It's the little moments. It's sitting having dinner and mucking about, pulling each other's legs in a gentle kind of silly way. I tell awful jokes all the time and they groan and roll their eyes, but it's just silly. Like, silliness is really undervalued. So we have to be terribly serious and have you done your homework and have you got your stuff ready and all of that. And we also do that because otherwise it's chaos, isn't it? But I think the little tiny moments of mucking about are so important, because they send an energy to the next activity, the next hour, the next day.
And shows them that they're valued for just being who they are.
Yes.
Rather than whether they've done their homework, we like you now, or whether they've cleared up. Well, it's just that you just like being with them. And
turning everything, or not everything, but turning things into something lighthearted without it being crass or... you're not hearing or seeing them. That's horrid. But if, for example, when my kids come home from school every day, if I'm there and I I'm not always there, but if I am there, I'll kind of stand at the door, like really expectantly for a hug and make a silliness of it. And come on, hug time kind of thing. And then my son will often just pick me up and kind of put me on the sofa. And it's just silly. And it probably sounds really stupid, but it's just silliness.
I think I was thinking about this because I think when I became a parent, I took it very seriously because I knew that I didn't like what my parents had done and I wanted to be good at it somehow. And I think I'd come from a very competitive, highly driven environment, and you kind of want to know that you're doing the right thing. And I think it's stepping back a little bit from that and going, you know what, that not every single moment of every day is about whether your kids are achieving or not. In fact, it should be the opposite.
Other way around.
Yes.
Because and I actually noticed it, and because I meditate daily, and I think I'm quite aware of the vibes in the house. Maybe could be wrong. Like I notice mine are doing exams soon, and there's stuff on there weighing on them that they're not terribly stressed about it, but they're happening, and that's a thing for them. And they're less chirpy. They're less, it's boring. Revision's boring. And I noticed, and I thought, oh, maybe there's something I can do. And it's just little tiny tweaks. It's how you walk into the room. It's how you say good morning, even rather than have you done your coursework? Have you, and I do that too. And you kind of catch yourself in that. Have you done it? Have you done it? And my youngest boy, particularly, he responds really badly to, come on, up you get. And he's always late and he's always forgotten stuff and he's always late with his work and stuff. So it's also real. Like I wouldn't be being a good parent if I didn't also chase him on those things. But it's also trying to not make everything a boring old drag. Yeah,
and I think the permission to chase them, it needs to be gained beforehand. I said to my daughter, where do you need need support with this? So you create boundaries, and then you say, by the way, you said you want me to do this, so here we are. Here's your call. Here's your call. Here's your call.
Exactly.
When you need to.
And yes, I did drive off without you again this morning because you weren't ready.
I love it.
So bad luck.
So I put this out on various social media outlets. I'm on quite a few, and I just wrote, help me out. What's the best thing for you about parenting a teenager, and what do you do with them that you really enjoy? Barbara, sorry, completely stumped.
Oh,
poor Barbara. I just said, oh, you sound like you need a hug, Barbara.
Yeah.
A. Stedman, FP massage, still thinking.
Yeah.
Carib 31, hardly anything with my teenage daughter, unfortunately.
Well, I think also going back to this idea that it's fleeting moments. Yes. So we don't do many big fun activities.
Yes.
Because, it's trying to herd cats.
Yeah.
We will occasionally, like we're going to the cinema tomorrow, which is lovely, but we haven't done that for a while. It's the fleeting moments. So when we are asked, what do you do that's fun? Maybe the obvious answer, well, nothing. But maybe they're not recognising that actually there was a little chat before bed.
Yes, I like that.
Sprayed you with toothpaste while you...
Yes, and it came up, there's a book by Abigail Schreier, which is out at the moment, called Bad Therapy. And I think it's the subtitle is Why Our Kids Aren't Growing Up. And one of the things that she mentions in it is this: if you ask anybody if they're happy at any moment in the day, the majority of those moments, they may not say they're happy. Like, how do you feel? You'll say, well, I'm tired, or I'm stressed, I'm rushing, or you're not joyous or happy.
No.
And actually this sense that we should be makes you think, oh, well, what's wrong with me? Nothing's wrong with you. It's normal. Yeah. It's normal. It's very rare, but actually just try and find those moments. And when you have them, they call them glimmers, don't they?
Glimmers, yes.
Notice them. Just notice them. Go, I just had a little nice moment there. That was good.
And sitting on the floor with the dog, with your teenager for 2 minutes is really fun.
Oh, I do that.
And that is a fun activity, isn't it? But maybe it's not recognised as such.
Yes, stinky dog breath.
Yeah, that too. Not the fun bit.
And Dr. Katrina said she just gets her joy from embarrassing her teenagers endlessly.
100%.
You know what I did the other day? We were walking down the train, and this made me think about the manners one that I did recently. And my daughter was with me, and we walked past this man who had his shoes on the chair in front of him. And I just said really loudly, "Shoes!" And he took his shoes down. And my daughter was like, Mum. And I said, what? Look, it was effective.
That's so funny. Oh, I have rules when we go shopping. I have a list of rules that I'm not allowed to do.
Oh, really? A whole list?
Only my daughter, my son couldn't care less. Oh, he won't go into the shopping centre.
There's buttons you can press then?
buttons.
Yes, like they give me the rules, and I just deliberately find.
Oh, totally. So I'm not allowed to dance because I go to the shopping centre. There's always music, and I always just find myself moving, dancing, and singing along.
You hear music everywhere.
Yeah,
you're a musician,
and I'm not allowed to sing, dance, link arms, touch her. It's
That's
so
hilarious.
funny. It's really funny.
Hilarious.
There's a whole list of them. And we went away for a weekend, just me and her. And I said, like, we're in a foreign country now. Do those rules still apply? Like, you don't know anyone here. And she's like, yep.
And that's, again, I remember doing that with my parent. I forget which one it was, when we would drive up to the bus that I had to catch. And I would actually pretend I was trying to find something on the floor so that people wouldn't see me in the car.
Yeah. Brilliant.
There you are. Rather than have lots of messages just read one after the other, I put them into categories. So one of them was seeing them grow, which really, I thought was lovely. So it was Sherry Grant, watching them thrive and grow, the hope in their eyes, beautiful. Spirit and openness, and Attica Bristol, watching them change almost daily into young adults, and acupuncture healthcare. Unexpectedly proud of my 15-year-old son taking responsibility for agreed tasks and getting it done.
Wow.
What?
How? Give us the answers.
That, very proud. I would be very, wow. Because that's actually lots of layers to get that there. Okay. Learning. And this was a really popular one. Teenagers are really interesting people as long as we don't judge them. I think we need to.
So interesting.
Yes, and treating them with a bit of respect.
Yeah.
Once you can do that, then you'll get so much back from them. And MJ Dunk, PhD, great tip. Meet them where they are. Love that.
100%. And I love hearing what my kids, their opinions, because they're young, they're kind of half formed, aren't they? They're trying out opinions, political, historical, all of the things. And, just going, I'm always really vocal. I love hearing what you think about stuff. Tell me. And you hear it coming out, and sometimes it's a bit kind of like controversial, and you go, okay, and just meeting it with non-judgment. Oh, that's really interesting. And
have you thought about this?
Yeah, just hearing them to the end, and then going, that's really interesting. I love hearing your opinion, and this is how I see it. And then sometimes they go, well, you're wrong, obviously, or they go, oh, that's interesting. I hadn't thought of that, but always within non-judgment. I love it. It's really interesting.
Yes, and the thing is, they open us to a different way of looking at things potentially, just because you think, we were brought up at a time. So, for example, E.L. Norrie, who's an author and screenwriter, said the way they constantly challenge me, because I had to examine my own attitudes and behaviours, which definitely I've had. My most challenging teenager is the one who really sees things differently to me and makes me have to justify what I think, or go, oh, wow, now I've learned something.
Yes, 100%.
And Lazy Slugs said, my kids seem to be much more well-informed than me, and particularly on social justice issues, equality, sex, race. And, I think I had quite a narrow upbringing.
Interesting.
Yes.
I think, praising them for their opinions is they love it. You can watch them sort of blossom. And I often kind of say, I think your generation's going to be way better at this topic. What do you think?
Yes.
Like inviting them in a way that they feel valued.
Yeah. Yeah. And not just trying to teach them what you think. And what's an interesting one is Ali Koss said, hearing his view of the world, what I was thinking was, it's very interesting because I have girls. I love the way my husband thinks. It is different to me.
Yes.
Not completely, but I love his view on things, and he's much more definite about certain things than I am. I'm much more wishy-washy sometimes, and it's lovely I love it when I've got boys around, teenage boys, and hearing their viewpoints, because they can be very different, and it's really energizing to get,
especially on topics
view.
Around femininity and equal gender issues and stuff. They have different opinions. And meeting that with non-judgment can be a little bit challenging. Yes. But super interesting.
Yes. And just asking them where did they get that opinion from? Would you like to hear a different viewpoint? And just being able to have those, because it's quite challenging, I think.
Yeah. We have a little joke in our house, like, one of them will come with something and we go, well, where did you read that? On TikTok?
Yes.
And he goes, yeah.
And it's almost always, yes. My kids, not my kids, one of them in particular is very keen on TikTok viewpoints. And some
of them are right, some of them aren't.
Okay. So here's the FT.
Yeah, no, TikTok has good information too. We just have to be discerning.
No. And what's really interesting is I recently took my daughter to a debate in London because she's very into her debating. And I thought, and again, it's something I've done because of her, not because I've never been to a debate like this before. No. And I booked it because it was on a very important topic, which is immigration good for Britain? And it's a very lively topic.
Yes, I can imagine.
And there were 4 distinguished speakers, and how wonderful to be exposed to a huge audience of adults who are all sitting there. One of whom, but the man behind me, he kept saying things out loud, without meaning to, and it sounded like he was shouting at his TV at home. It was very funny. But they were all actually really interesting speakers. And it was wonderful for her to see adults putting together an entire speech about a topic they feel very matters a lot.
Yes.
And then having to argue their points.
That's such a good lesson.
Yes. And she said to me, the thing is, when I try to read the newspapers, but most of the time the stories reference things that are meaningless to me or don't really relate to my own history. You know, you have to have a lot of depth to your reading to really understand a lot of particularly political stories. And she said the amazing thing was that they had to package an entire sort of concept in one speech. And she said she learnt so much from it. So things like that.
Brilliant.
I've had to think and learn from it.
Yeah. They teach us.
And one that you like particularly is their friends. I love my girls' friends too.
Yeah, they're great.
It's the best.
They're sweet.
It's the best. It's the best because, so for example, Tim and Tor said, I enjoy them bringing their friends home and they're all such good company. FP Massage said, when you hear from other people that they've done something kind.
Yeah.
Peacock Party, when they find their thing, which then brings in those true friendships. Right? So it's interesting when they've actually got it's actually the thing that's attracted them. And then the friends that start coming home really share values and ideas that are similar, which is quite interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
And Ray loves the conversation she has with her daughter and her friends. And of course, it's those, I found that talking to my daughter's friends is I have to be a little bit careful sometimes because my daughters will shoot a glance at me because they're a little bit scared I might own up because I know everything. And so...
In their opinion, or how do you mean?
Well, what I mean is, okay, I've got their entire history.
Oh, I see. You could really
and they'll
dump them
tell
in
me
it.
anything.
Yep.
Maybe not everything, but they tell me anything. And it really matters to me that I keep that quiet. And they know that that's my values, that I would never tell anybody... Even my husband, there are things I wouldn't tell him that my daughters have told me because they've asked me not to. Fine, I'm 100. But I think every now and then they're like, where's she going to say?
How far is she going to go?
How's she going to... And will she think this is funny? Because I do love prodding. Because they prod me as well.
Yeah, brilliant.
So it's just one of those areas where you just have to be a little bit careful. But it's fun.
It's fun, it's fun. It's fun, especially when it's girlfriend, boyfriend or partner. Do you want to come and see some baby photos?
That's the best.
I've done that.
Oh, stored those.
So
those. These ones are for the 21st birthday party. These ones are for the wedding.
Yeah. Oh, no, I've done it already.
You've done it. I love that. And do you show them the really sweet ones or do you show them the...
Mixture.
Okay.
Mixture.
Love it.
Yeah, mostly the embarrassing ones.
Oh, great.
But I think they're all cute. And then they're going, I'm mortified. Oh, my God, I look awful in that.
Well, my daughter was with her friends last night and she said, Mummy, can you send me some video of me doing... And it was a really stupid thing that she'd done with her sister that was pretty embarrassing when she was younger. So I started digging through. I couldn't find it, but I started sending other videos.
Brilliant. Oh,
and
so
eventually she said, Mummy, these are so funny. Yeah. Have you got any more of me crying?
Yeah.
And she was crying in it like you're a brat way.
Yeah. No,
so
I
obviously
took
they find it
videos
funny when
and
they're
photos
older.
of them when they were crying deliberately because I thought I don't want just one side of life. So I remember in lockdown we spent hours like scrolling through old videos and photos, absolutely wetting ourselves.
See, that is a really good thing to do with your teens.
So much fun.
Isn't that a good thing? Because it hasn't even occurred to me. What a good thing! Like if it's a boring evening, just pull up some stuff. Because also they can see, oh gosh, we used to do those nice things together.
Yes, it's really lovely and it's really funny.
Now, coming down to sharing interests, we've got tons and tons of these.
Okay. So sharing in parents and kids sharing.
Yeah, doing things together. So Sian said her eldest son had just signed up for a 10K and is training with his dad and is starting to coming to the gym with her. And they all volunteer together at their local theatre as well.
Oh, wow.
Fantastic.
Wow.
What a great thing to do together. Sarah, she said hers usually want to go into Dublin Centre and they book a restaurant. This is usually Christmas birthdays, but more special events. Yeah. She has boys. The 17-year-old likes afternoon tea. And nice. I know, isn't that great? And then she said it turns out they're really good at picking gifts for other people. I want those kids. I'm starting to think I'm missing a trick here because I have real fear over buying people gifts.
Okay.
And I think it's because I grew up poor, so I'm always mindful of how much money I'm spending. Like I don't want to overspend because I don't want to be too flamboyant and make people feel uncomfortable that I've given them too big a gift. But I also don't want to undergift and make them feel like I don't care. And then I think, well, what if I buy them a gift that they don't want and then it has to go somewhere they,
God, this is an exhausting process.
I go through this whole thing and then I don't buy anything. And so I need someone else to go, yeah, that's a good gift.
That's
Mom.
fine.
And then I
that's
go,
good enough.
I worry about these. It's ridiculous.
Wow. Yeah,
you need
your kids to take over.
I do. I want my kids to take over.
Yeah.
Katrina, sharing crafts together. They spent a few hours painting ceramic cups and she said it was her daughter's idea, but they had the best time.
Oh, being creative is lovely. If you can get them to the table.
Yes.
It's amazing.
Yes.
And it's surprising, actually. Like, I often think they're not going to want to. And we haven't done it for ages, actually. That's a good reminder. But often at Easter, we'd do the eggs and paint them.
So much fun.
And I think the best way of doing it is to just start. If you go, let's do it, who's coming? And sit there waiting. And then you start to get a bit annoyed because they haven't come. And if you just start and then you're like a magnet and they go past and go, oh, what are you doing?
Oh, that looks fun.
Oh, can I go?
No, I love that. I think you're absolutely right. Yeah. Rather than demanding everybody start at this time.
3 o'clock, we're going to paint.
We're going to have fun.
No, we're not.
My daughters like to come and plant seeds with me at this time of year. Just little pots, and there's something very just relaxing. And then they see them coming up, and it's just lovely. And they always then want an entire vegetable plot, and then nothing ever happens. Yeah. But anyway, MJ Dunk PhD plays video games with them.
Brilliant.
Watching movies that they want to see, listening to music they like. But get this. We rode in the MS 150 bicycle tours with them their entire high school years. And I thought, what is that? Yeah. And I looked it up, and it's a challenge where you have 2 days, you have to cycle 150 miles, and it says it's power versus fatigue, training versus excuses. But I just thought, wow. I mean, if you like cycling or you like exercise, that's a really cool thing to do together.
That is a really cool thing.
Yeah. DN Beale taught her daughter archery. She says her daughter loves it. She's now disabled, the mother, but still able to use the bow so they can do it together. And her daughter has to do all the running.
Brilliant.
Great.
Perfect.
Lazy Slug says, I just like listening to music with them, cooking, doing art, playing board games. Board games
are brilliant, yeah.
Board games are great. I didn't ever have board games. Did we? I think we maybe played Scrabble or Monopoly occasionally. And I learnt the joy of board games from other people. Yeah. And there is something so incredibly wonderful about getting the whole family and sitting down with a good board game.
It has to be a good board game, yeah.
My favourite, well, not just board games, Monopoly Deal, quick, hilarious, really addictive. I've been to other people's houses. Monopoly Deal, it's cards.
Oh, okay.
And it's based on Monopoly. It's quick, it's furious, it can change on a hairpin. And when I've taken it to other people's houses, including all the adults, they wanted to play again and again and again. Okay. It's very addictive. Monopoly Deal. What else is there? Perudo, another easy dice. Okay. It's Liar's Dice. Yeah. Really, all the kids love it, and it's a very quick one. Again, whenever I'm in a big group of teens, that comes out. Yeah. Taskmaster, we played this at Christmas. This is so much fun. I mean, I have never laughed and cried an entire day. If you've got a whole day with your kids and you've got time, get that game. It's hilarious, and everyone can play.
Brilliant.
And there are things where you don't actually have to have the game. Yeah. There's something called Empire. If you look it up and you've got a group together, you can play that.
Brilliant.
Really, lots of fun things like that.
Stuff.
Yes.
Because I often found, especially when they're a bit younger, maybe that, I was on my own with 3 kids. So we were all, I was exhausted.
Exhausted.
And if I wasn't exhausted, I was running them around to, various things. So I remember, feeling sometimes, oh gosh, we don't really do much together. You see other families with, 2 parents and 2 kids and they're doing stuff. They may be going to play a game together or do some sport together. And I remember thinking, oh, we don't really do that. So I also understand from the, the perspective of, we don't do much and we can't, it's also can be expensive. Of course, there's a lot of free stuff you can do, but it's the energy required to do it. But it's the little things that actually count, I think.
Well, I mean, almost free. If you've got some music, stick it on loudly in the kitchen, dance around together, get everybody to pick their favourite song that they'll dance to. Yeah. We used to do that a kitchen disco.
Yeah.
It's just a nice way of letting off energy.
Yeah, brilliant. But my point was just that, we sometimes think it has to be something, really a formal activity. It doesn't.
No, it doesn't. Something spontaneous like that can really bring them together. A few people mentioned musicals. They're expensive.
They're really expensive.
I have not. Somebody said they went to Moulin Rouge, and I just thought, I'd love to go to Moulin Rouge. Expensive.
We did that one Christmas with my sister and her kids. Instead of giving Christmas presents, we all went to see a show.
Best present.
Still expensive. I mean, the prices have gone up in the last few years a lot, but it was, we still all talk about it.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing. And actually, do you remember back to the episode we had on Christmas presents? The best things are doing things.
And you can go to local, amateur stuff, which are often really good quality, and it's a fraction of the price.
Yeah, yeah. And Ray just says mooching around together, going to charity shops, being included in TikTok dances. My girls did a TikTok the other day. Oh my goodness. They both dressed up as rappers and they had tinfoil over their teeth. Wow. And they'd made jewelry out of tinfoil, like rings. Yeah. I was and they had made beards and moustaches out of it. Made me cry with laughter. It was the funniest thing. I didn't put it on my social media because I don't show my children on social media, but my goodness, I was desperate to share it.
I've never been allowed to do that. Mine don't make any videos anymore, but even when they did, I wasn't allowed in them.
Oh, honestly, see, I was thinking I really want to be in that. Finally, humour. Steph said sassiness and comebacks.
Yes.
Love their when they are funny.
They are so funny.
Yes. And way better. I can't remember the jokes. They tell me jokes. I think that's a brilliant joke.
Yeah.
Can't remember it.
It's timing.
It's timing.
It's the timing of it.
Yes, yes.
And then the glares you get. I get told daily basis, Mum, when are you going to be funny? And I think I'm hilarious.
Oh, come on. I'm trying my hardest here.
I think I already am.
And Jane said she has chalk and cheese teenagers, which a lot of us do.
Yeah.
And she said one loves to go for a manicure, get her nails done in a proper shop, mooch around charity shops, cook. The other bites her nails to the quick and loves doing sports. So Jane has started learning walking football, and her daughter, I don't know how you do that, and her daughter is teaching her how to kick the ball properly.
Okay.
How cool is that?
That's so cool.
As a family, they've done things together, like hire a professional artist and learn how to paint together or make pots together.
Yeah. Making stuff is amazing. You can get loads of kits. That's a brilliant thing to do.
I'm dreadful at that. But...
We do. We have an annual tradition, which sounds a little bit hippie, but it's very cool. Me and my daughter, we make stinging nettle soup once a year, and it is now.
Yes,
they're growing up, and it's just really fun.
I've made that once.
Yeah, did you not like?
It was okay.
You put loads of vegetables in. It does taste a bit different.
It's a bit like the soup stone, isn't it? Where you just got the stinging nettles in, but you just add lots of other things.
Yeah,
pretty much.
Pretty much. It does taste different.
We made elderflower champagne.
Oh, fancy!
And that didn't taste that great either.
Oh, okay.
I think it's me.
Maybe. And when we lived in Denmark, everyone makes elderflower cordial.
Yes.
Like it's a thing.
It's there. It's in the hedgerows everywhere.
It's so easy. I never made that, but we did do singing nettles.
Yeah, but you've got to have the citric acid, and I think you have to you have to get it. They can make bombs with it, so you have to be careful.
You can do it with lemon.
Yeah, I don't remember. Yeah. Anyway, and the other thing that my daughter started was she went to another friend's house and they make sourdough bread. She made me a sourdough starter.
Ooh, yummy.
And as a present, and you can make a sourdough starter from scratch.
Yep.
And we bake sourdough bread.
Amazing. I was given a sourdough starter as well.
Did you kill it?
I didn't get on with it, shall we say? It was. I was like looking at it going, this is a lot of effort. I look after enough. I look after enough people in this house.
You do have to
The
baby
bread
it.
can look after itself.
No, actually, I have left mine in a fridge for weeks and weeks
Have you?
without feeding it,
Okay.
and then I revived it. So I can
Okay.
tell you how to do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure it's where
It's just
my,
not your thing. That's
my
the thing.
enthusiasm
You
lies.
do the painting and the whatever, and I'll do the
I'll make
salad.
sea nettle soup.
I want to eat it. I don't want to, like a painting, I can't eat it. So
We could do like a barter thing. I'll bring you some green soup and you can give me some bread. I think it's a great deal.
It's a great deal. Perfect. Right. On that note, we probably run over time from what we normally do, but I'm sure that, it
was fun, right?
It's fun. It's fun. It's fun. And don't forget gossip. I always just say to my kids, what's the gossip?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, within
In
you
a
have to
fun
kind
way.
of be careful
what's
with
the
that one, though,
gossip,
don't you?
guys?
But the gossip being mine. Go. What are you talking about?
Oh, really? Oh, I brought mine up on it. I'm like,
Yeah.
because my best friend, when I lived with him,
Yeah.
every day I'd come home and he worked in the attic and he had this little ladder that would just down. He'd come hammering down it and then go, what's the gossip?
Yeah.
And it put me under pressure to come up with a good story.
Yeah,
And
no, it's
actually, I
good.
thought it's great.
It is great as long as it's not actual gossip.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
No, we don't do that.
No, just a fun story.
No, it's like fun stuff. Tell me what's been happening.
Yeah,
And I go, ooh.
Yeah. Actually, every dinner I ask my kids, it's become a really eye roll, annoying thing. And so I do it, of course, now deliberately. Like, what did you have for lunch? And they
What
go,
did you have for lunch?
every day. What did you have for lunch? And they go, oh, God. Go on, tell me, what did you have for lunch today?
That's so funny. Right, that's it for today. How about a fun audit? That's the only thing you need to do. Just kind of have a look at your week and think, when can I just stick a little bit of fun in?
Yeah.
Any of these little suggestions, nothing, no more pressure.
No pressure, though.
No pressure. And also just give yourself a pat on the back. You're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Don't beat yourself up. If your kids hate you right now and they are lurking in their rooms, keep trying. Keep saying,
trying,
I love you.
Yeah.
That, and when they do say something funny, laugh at it.
Yeah. Bring the best energy you can to the room.
Yes,
Bring
exactly,
the best energy and
exactly.
it will ripple out one day.
It will ripple out and they come back to you. I promise. If your teenager thinks you're the most boring, stupid, ugly person on the planet and they don't want to tell you anything and they want to spend time with their friends, just keep going in there and just say, I love you and, be there for them and it will.
It will turn.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this episode, then please hit the follow button and send it to someone who might benefit. You could give us a review. Yes, and make us super happy and joyous. You can find us on www.teenagersuntangled.com. We're on social media platforms. Come and say hi. Don't be shy.
Yeah, we'd love to hear.
Yeah. And Susie, what's your website?
It is www.amindful-life.co.uk and all my social media links are on there. You can find me on that.
And she can teach you how to de-stress.
De-stress.
How to just not take it too personally.
And, just adding on to that, laughter is a super brilliant regulator of our nervous system.
It really is.
It really is important.
It really
it's not just let's add on a bit of fun at the end. If we can integrate it into our day and have a little bit more light, not take ourselves so flipping seriously.
Absolutely.
Then it makes a big difference to our nervous systems and to our general mood.
And life has to be, we have to find some fun.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, because it can be really hard and it's not supposed to be great all the time. It is hard work, but just enjoying yourself from time to time.
And not taking everything so personally.
Yep, I'm into that.
Brilliant.
That's it. Bye-bye for now.
Bye-bye.